What's up, everybody? Welcome to another installment of That Science and Nature Show. I am your host, Jeremy Howard. It's now 2025. Welcome to the show. I have with me here two returning guests. First and foremost, George Todd. George, welcome to the show.
Hi, thanks for having me again. Glad to be back.
And also returning, Soren Johnson.
Also glad to be back.
Yes, George, it's been a minute since you've been on. The last time you were on, to my recollection, was the episode we did on science education in like April, I think, of 2024.
Yeah, that's correct. Yeah.
It's been a minute. And Soren, you were recently on the shopping and consumer behavior episode we did around Black Friday of last year. So it's good to have you back. So we have a special episode for your listeners this time. We are going to be doing a trivia-themed episode. So we haven't done one of these in a while. I believe the last time we did a trivia episode was in season 2 in December of 2023, if my memory serves me well. So it's been a minute. So I thought it would be a fun, easy way to bring in the new year, have a fun trivia episode. I have roughly about 180 trivia questions from trivianerd.com.
That's a lot.
We may or may not get through all of them, but there is a good amount, and they are all in the general biology theme. In the past, we have done episodes where we've kind of just done science across the board, which includes just general science, material science, physics, psychology, what have you. So this will be much more in our realm because we're all biology grad students, so that makes sense. What I will tell you is what I tell everyone since the first trivia episode, because people get really tripped up by this. Obviously, you're graduate students. You think at a very high level. These trivia questions are not aimed at you. They are aimed at the general trivia taker, as if you were doing trivia at a bar or something of that nature. So don't overthink the question about what it is asking. It is probably much simpler than you were thinking. I know we like to point out all the nuances, we like to point out, but there's an exception here. But just think, again, generally what might be asked. I guess before we get started, how have we been lately? How's our winter break been?
My break's been pretty good. It's been kind of cold, but been doing some work while also taking some time over the break to visit family and spend time with my wife, and so overall it's been really great.
Fantastic. We've gotten a lot of snow here for the listeners. We had a giant, I don't want to say blizzard, but snowstorm about 5 to 6 inches the other week, and it's been causing a lot of chaos in January. How about you, Soren?
Had a good winter break, pretty relaxing. Spent time with family and friends, that's always good. Getting ready for starting off the semester next week. So
Fun. The chaos resumes very shortly. I'm kind of ready for it. I'm like, here we go again. Is my kind of mentality right now.
Well, it's coming up very quick, so.
Yep. It is the last day of winter break as we record this, so next week starts the semester. All right, gentlemen, we will launch right into it. Does one of you want to go first?
I can go first. So
Okay.
The questions will be presented to each of us individually?
Yes, they'll be the rules for trivia. Thank you for reminding me. I should go over this. We'll go person by person. So George is facing off against Soren. We're going to ask one question at a time. I have a nice T-chart here that says George and Soren's names on it that I will tally the number of
nice
correct
is
questions.
an overstatement.
What I will be doing is I'll ask them each a question. If they get the question wrong, the other person has the chance to steal. That is how we do it on That Science and Nature Show for trivia. So if George gets the question wrong, Soren has the opportunity to guess if he would like to. Otherwise, I will reveal the answer and move on to the next question. As the host, I am also the final say on what is right and what is not right. So if I think something is close enough, I'll give it to you. If I think you're way off, I will not give it to you. So on and so forth. Okay, so starting off with George from trivianerd.com. I will say one last thing. These questions are kind of a little more flowery than usual. They're much more direct. So these are written in a more like flowery, I guess, fun tone. And you're going to hear the first question and be like, oh, I see it now. It's going to be like that theme for the episode.
Okay. That'll make it more interesting. So yeah.
Here we go. Question number 1, George. What do you call that swinging built-in water sprayer on an elephant's face? Its super cool appendage.
A trunk.
Correct. George is on the board.
Okay, I see what you mean.
Yep, you see what I mean. Soren, what's the exclusive VIP club on your face where the dazzling cornea throws a light party? Looking for an organ.
Eye?
Yes. You're going to get more interesting as we go. George, imagine a feline with built-in kitchen cutlery. What did a saber-toothed cat fierce canines resemble? What do their canines resemble? We're looking for an object.
A knife.
That's correct. They resemble a knife. All right, Soren. When a fish hits the water's runway, what adorable name do its tiny offspring go by?
Spawn?
That is incorrect. George, do you have a guess?
Can you repeat the question?
When a fish hits the water's runway, what adorable name do its tiny offspring go by?
Guppy?
No, that is incorrect. It is fry.
Oh, okay.
All right, George. What dazzling trick do flowers use, channeling their inner celebrity to lure bees and insects like the paparazzi? What's a flower feature that attracts insects or bees?
Petals.
Wait, I lost my place. Can you be more specific?
Colors.
Yes, colors. It's kind of broad, but okay. That's a repeat for some reason. That's also a repeat for some reason. That's weird. Soren, in a blockbuster cosmic twist worthy of a summer flick, what event is believed to have wiped out the dinosaurs?
Meteorite?
Correct. George, when you think of man's best friend, what common name do these loyal, tail-wagging buddies go by?
Dogs.
Correct. Soren, this question, I gotta read it like this. Ribbit, where do our amphibious friends set up their cozy little watery homes? This is a little bit more general. It's looking for what type of, I guess I'll give you a hint.
Pond? Lily
What type
pad?
of water are they setting up in?
Freshwater?
Yes, that's correct. Again, some of these questions are a little vague. George, for our simple animal pals living on autopilot, what fraction of their actions are just pure reflex? Okay, that's a really vague answer.
50%.
Okay. I don't even know how to answer. The answer to this is so. I'm going to skip this question.
Okay.
The answer is most.
Most? Okay.
So technically 50% is not correct.
Yeah,
true.
I was like, there's no way you
Yeah,
would
you don't have to
know
give that one to me. Yeah.
He just gets a
All right,
no.
I'm just going to ask you this next one.
Okay.
All right, what's that sweet, sugary cocktail that flowers whip up to attract buzzing fans? Nature's version of a VIP treat.
Nectar.
That is correct. Soren, if you could run your fingers over fossilized skin, would it feel soft and squishy or rock solid like a classic meme?
Rock solid like a classic meme.
That's correct. Oh man, I'm glad I chose this website for trivia for this episode. George, picture a mammal mid-breath. How many lungs are joining in on that life-sustaining dance? How many lungs does it take the mammal to breathe?
2.
Correct. That life-sustaining dance. I've never heard breathing described as that. Okay, we're moving into some plant trivia.
Oh no.
Soren, what's the ultimate sun worshipper, turning rays into sugar, powering up nature's energy system?
Photosynthesis?
That is not correct. George,
I'm going to go with leaves.
I will give that to you because the answer is plants. So,
Oh, okay.
all right.
I'll take it.
Can I contest?
No, you may not. George, in the epic saga of life, what microscopic superstar forms the very building block of you, me, and everything in between?
Cells.
That is correct. Soren, when reptiles want to rock that cool emerald look, they mix yellow with which secret ingredient from their natural paint box? Looking for a color.
Blue?
Correct? Okay, George, in the world of feathered fashion, what sizzling shade does a male robin flaunt right on its chest? What color?
Red.
Correct.
What's the Pantone number?
I was thinking orange, but then I'm thinking red robin. Red. Yeah.
Yum. Soren, when paleontologists unearth new dino bones, what spectacular tradition do they follow, giving these ancient celebrities their very own name? All right, I'm skipping that question because that's...
They name fossils using scientific names and
Actually, based on that's correct. Based on what you just said,
yes,
they just put the word named. So I don't really know. George, what catchy nickname has stuck to that pesky fungal foot infection that makes your sneakers less fashionable?
The name?
Yes, what is the catchy nickname for that pesky fungal foot infection?
Athlete's foot.
Yes, that is correct. Soren, which mysterious plant, named after the Italian phrase, quote, beautiful women, end quote, adds a hint of allure to the botanical realm?
oh man, this one's hard.
It is. I didn't know this.
Rose.
George, would you like to steal?
Unfortunately, no.
Okay, the answer is belladonna,
Oh,
which I had not heard of before. Okay. Wait, we're on George. When freshwater dinosaur fossils are discovered, what cool status do they earn on the Paleontologist Hall of Fame? Okay, that also... I don't like this question. I'm going to skip this also.
Oh, okay, thanks.
what was the answer?
The answer also says named. So they get named when they're in the Hall of Fame? That's not a good true question. All right, George. Which superstar pain reliever, first whisked from the willow tree in the 1890s, became the go-to remedy for aches and pains?
And what year?
The 1890s.
1890s. Tylenol?
And Tylenol is a type of... That's like the drug name, but that's like the product name, but what's the drug? Or is it? I'm blanking on this. Hold on. To the internet. Am I misrepresenting something?
I'll give you a moment to think.
Okay, yeah, okay, I see. Yeah, I'm looking more for the drug name and not the product name.
The antihistamine?
Soren, would you like to steal?
Acetaminophen.
It is actually aspirin, which is separate from
okay.
acetaminophen, which is what I just looked up.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Soren, which zesty acid is responsible for making lemons the sour, tangy trendsetters of the world?
Citric.
Correct.
Close one.
Whew, wipe the sweat off there. George, when plants throw a photosynthesis party, what essential molecule do they generously gift to the atmosphere as nature's confetti?
Oxygen.
That's correct. Soren, which sassy part of a flower, bursting with fragrance and charm, acts as the ultimate magnet for buzzing insect fans? What sassy part of the flower?
The flower? No.
Which part of the flower?
Oh, okay. Pollen.
That is not correct, George.
The odor?
That is not correct either. I was looking for petal.
Oh, I thought it just said that it had smell. I guess
Yeah.
petals have smell. Do they?
I think they do.
Well,
Okay.
yeah, okay.
We'll move on. We're on you, George.
Yes.
Okay. What
can say
crunchy
no.
critters fill the menu of the ever-hungry pitcher plants, helping them score an extra nutrient boost?
Insects.
Correct. Soren, when you break down every living thing, what tiny essential components are the true foundation of all plants and animals?
Cells?
Correct. Again,
remember cells
don't
as an answer from
overthink
before.
this.
I was like, oh, is it cells or is it carbohydrates?
All right.
Carbon.
Now we are on to animals. George, how does the polar bear stay toasty in a land so cool even Elsa would approve?
Fur. Well, there's another.
Do you want to say it? I feel like I'll give this to you because I know your line of thinking here.
Blubber.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Soren, which
I
canine...
felt like George got 2 answers on that one. Like to contest
Yeah,
again.
can I
Because
get-
like
can I get 2
technically
points
the
for
fur
that? I think
also
those are both true.
does technically. All
That's
right.
true.
Soren, which canine can rival skyscrapers by being the tallest pooch on the block? What's the tallest dog breed?
Great Dane.
That is correct. Soren knows his dogs. I would not have known that. George, if a buffalo were a movie critic, I don't know why that would happen. Would it pick a plant-based... Sorry.
No, we
the
gotta
way
hear
this
the
is
end of
written
this.
is so hilarious. If a buffalo were a movie critic, would it pick a plant-based plot? I think that's trying to say, what is the word for the buffalo that eats only plant-based food?
Yes, herbivore.
Yeah.
I don't know. Can we ask? Can we get? Can we survey some buffalo to see if they prefer plant-based or
I'll
meat-based
let you take on that task.
movies?
That was a really weird question. The way it was written. Soren, fancy a burger? Which moving creature is the original beef supplier?
Cow.
Correct. Again, don't overthink these things. They're pretty straightforward. George, what secret ingredient in cocktails gets the party started like it's straight out of a James Bond flick?
Alcohol.
And
Or
that is
ethanol?
what
Ethanol?
Yeah, you got it. Da-da-da-da. Soren, if insects threw a global rave, what percentage of the VIP guest list would they dominate? So, like, what percentage of the Earth is insects? Like, of all the animal species?
80%.
That's correct. I did not know that. George, imagine a triceratops going on a prehistoric road trip. Did these giants ride solo or in a squad?
In a squad.
That is correct. Soren, who is the genetic stylist behind those dazzling eye colors that leave even Hollywood in awe? Okay, the way this is weird. It's not an actual person they're looking for. They're asking,
Do you wanna repeat it?
Alleles?
Do you want to repeat it again?
Genes?
who's the genetic stylist behind those dazzling eye colors that leave even Hollywood in awe? Basically, where do people get their eye colors from? Think genetics.
Like alleles?
But, like, what's the process of them getting...
Inheritance?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, see, I helped you out there a little bit like I
Yeah,
helped George,
okay.
so...
All right, that's fair.
George, in the botanical world's dating scene, you know, I'm sure you think about that a lot. Which part plays the charming male lead?
The anther.
That is correct. Never thought of the anther as the charming male lead, but all right. Soren, which creature pulls off the ultimate metamorphosis, transforming from a humble caterpillar into a dazzling wonder?
Butterfly?
Correct. George, if you took a spooky detour in a cave, who would be the mysterious resident showing off the dark side?
Bats.
Yes.
I feel like there's very many answers for that question.
But again, what would most people probably say
No.
for trivia?
Bats are the only animals that live in caves.
We're not going to go down that road.
They
Soren.
live in caves the whole time. They go out of the caves and they come back in the caves.
Soren. Which feathered friend looks like it dived headfirst into a box of crayons? Also, that question does not make sense with that answer. We're going to skip that. We're going to skip that.
What bird was it?
It was not a bird. The word was not an answer.
What? What was the answer?
We're not going to worry about it.
Okay.
Soren, what do you call Japan's massive amphibian that could easily star in a Godzilla reboot?
Oh, the giant salamander?
Correct. Also didn't know that.
Yeah, to listeners, if you haven't ever seen a picture of a giant salamander, please look it up. They're quite awesome.
I like the hellbenders. They're real cool. I know it's not the same thing, but okay.
I think they're very similar. I think they might be in the same family.
George, when it comes to swimming sweetly, what name does the Japanese delicacy sweet fish go by?
I'm not sure.
Okay, Soren, do you have a hazard guess?
Tuna?
It is the Ayu, which I don't know.
That's interesting. What's up?
Soren, when you're saddling up for adventure, as one does,
Yeah.
it doesn't say that, I just added it. Which wild critter does a bronco truly represent?
A horse?
Correct. George, how How do those adventurous fish channel their inner aviator and make a splashy escape? Like, what action do they do to do this?
Fin flapping.
You can
I'm
go
going to
again.
say no
Oh.
on that. Soren, do a guess.
Swim?
No. The answer was glide, because flapping is not the same thing as gliding.
Okay. Yeah,
Oh.
that's fair.
Was it talking about like flying fish?
It says adventurous fish channel their inner aviator was the key word.
Oh.
I guess
It's what they're doing in the air when they're in the air.
Yeah.
I was trying to think of like how they get in the air. Well,
Yeah.
They just use a lot of fin motion, I
What
guess.
they
But
do? They swim.
it's okay. We overthought
Yeah.
it basically. Yeah.
Actually, I underthought it. I went with swim.
True.
Soren, what clear ancient resin would you find if you unearthed nature's own Jurassic jewelry box?
Amber?
Correct. George, when snails decide to take deep breaths underwater, what nifty tool do they use? What part of their body, or rather, nifty tool is a way to describe it.
There's snails.
Snails.
Snails. Okay. Their lung.
That is not
No.
correct. Soren, do you have a guess? What do snails use to breathe underwater? Those
Gills.
that can.
Oh.
Yes, that is
Okay.
correct.
I don't know what gills of a snail look like.
Yeah, I've never seen snail.
There are
gills,
some
actually.
underwater varieties of snails.
It
I
makes
think
sense.
a lot of them are. Yeah. So
All right.
that's probably why they have to stay like they can't be in dry areas too.
Well, yeah, I guess I always thought they were more like amphibians, where
Yeah.
they just like take it in through the skin, but I guess that's not the case.
Okay, Soren, who's the busiest behind nature's sweet hexagonal masterpiece?
Bees.
Correct. George, which furry friend embraces the art of a super long winter nap, proving that hibernation is a legit lifestyle?
A bear.
Correct. Soren, in the Birdies World Talent Show, which species wins the award for tiniest, most dazzling flyer?
The hummingbird bee.
Correct. George, if the canine world were a global collection of passport stamps, how many unique breeds would you find?
Yeah.
How many breeds of dogs are there, is what they're asking.
It's a very
Gosh.
specific one.
Yeah, this is more specific.
Is that looking for a number here? It's not most, like before.
So it is a specific.
It is a number. Any idea?
600.
No. Soren, do you have a guess?
100.
No. The answer is 800.
Whoa.
Okay. That was close there. Yeah.
I don't think that counts though.
Soren,
That's close enough.
close is what only in horseshoes and hand grenades is the expression? Or when I give you the point, because I feel like it. Soren, at the ultimate animal costume party, which amphibian hops in wearing a fish disguise? Oh, I see. I see what they're doing. That's cute.
Amphibian? Like a tadpole? Is that...
I'll give that to you. The answer is frog, but...
oh.
I think that's what the question's going
Oh,
for.
okay.
George, which pint-sized insect is rocking the coolest polka dot pattern like a true vintage comic star?
Can you repeat the question?
Which pint-sized insect is rocking the coolest polka dot pattern like a true vintage comic star?
The ladybug.
Correct. Soren, which tiny sassy dog straight out of Mexico has stolen the hearts of pups everywhere?
Chihuahua.
Correct.
There's a lot of dog questions.
I know. People like their dogs. George, where do polar bears call home in a place so chill it makes winter seem like summer?
The Arctic.
Correct. Soren, which scaly, snappy predator... Yeah, let me start over. Which scaly, snappy predator decided salads were overrated and went a different direction? Looking for a general group of organisms.
Carnivore?
Yes.
Okay.
That is very general.
Yeah.
Wow.
And here we go again. George, what's the fancy label for a creature that's all about the meaty fest, hosting a real-life barbecue every day?
carnivore?
Correct.
These are like
Had you on your
What are
toes.
the
Yeah.
odds? Okay.
Okay. All right, Soren. When celebrating Hump Day with epic splashes, which majestic marine giant steals the show?
humpback whale.
Correct. Okay, that's the end of animal trivia. Let's give them a little update on where we are. So,
But there are lots of plants.
We did some plant questions,
Oh, okay.
I guess.
Yeah.
okay, currently the standing is George 22, Soren 23. So it's roughly neck
neck,
and neck.
neck and neck.
Yeah. Also, I don't know. I don't know how I'm winning.
All right, but we will
I
keep.
feel like you've missed more.
Yeah.
I mean, I'll happily take some of your points.
All right, we will keep things going. We're on to nature trivia.
Some of the questions were worth more points than others.
All right, we're on to nature trivia now. So it's just generally stuff,
Oh.
general stuff. We're on George.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, George. How many calorie-packed reinforcements does an adult need daily to fuel his superhero adventures? So what's the average calorie number recommended for an adult?
2,000 per day.
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah, we're tied.
Yeah, now you're tied. Okay, Soren, which pesticide got kicked off the U.S. scene in 1972 as outdated as last season's fashion?
DDT.
Correct. George, when a brand new dinosaur fossil is discovered, what's its... Okay.
Named.
I don't... It's like almost like a placeholder for this. All right, we're skipping this.
Okay.
I'm not doing any more dinosaur fossil questions anymore. Because they all have the answer names, which I'm pretty sure is a placeholder. George, what secret nickname does the Japanese giant salamander strut under as if it were a mysterious deep-sea celebrity?
I don't know.
Okay.
Can you repeat the question?
Yes, I can.
Okay.
What secret nickname does the Japanese giant salamander strut under as if it were a mysterious deep-sea celebrity?
Godzilla.
No. The answer is the giant pepperfish,
I did not know that.
which
Yeah,
I
yeah.
googled real quick, and yeah, it's another name for the Japanese giant salamander.
Fair enough.
Yeah, I guess it's a pretty good secret. 'cause
Yeah.
none of us knew it.
All right. Soren. We're on Soren, right? Because you just tried to say,
Correct,
okay.
yeah.
Soren, in what luminous underwater ballroom do most bioluminescent party animals light up the deep blue? The answer is very general.
Ocean.
Yes.
Okay.
I love how this makes it so much harder because, again, it's like general top-down
It's
trivia,
fun.
and
It's
you
tricky.
go so
You
in
really
deep.
have to-
It makes it harder
Yeah,
for
adjust your
everyone.
thinking. I like it.
Soren, what kind of critters...
Oh, it's George.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
You got the
George,
ocean
thank you.
question, yeah.
George, what kind of critters send shivers down the spine of someone with zoophobia, making an even cute puppy look intimidating? If you have zoophobia, what are you afraid of?
Animals.
Correct. Prefix zoo is animal and phobia
Yeah.
is, fear of. Soren, bamboo isn't just the panda's favorite snack. What type of plant family does it secretly belong to?
Grass.
Correct. Have to take away your plant card. I know you're super worried.
I already got the fish question wrong at the beginning, so that was.
That's true.
George, where did the chic tulip first make its stunning debut? Surrounded by breathtaking vibes. Again, we're looking for a general area, not a specific thing, if that makes sense. I guess what type of ecosystem did the tulip first arrive in?
The rainforest.
No. Soren, you have a guess?
Plains, prairie,
It's actually the mountains.
Okay. Yeah.
Netherlands.
Soren, collagen and hemoglobin aren't just buzzwords in the gym. News to me. They belong to which powerhouse nutrient group?
Protein.
Correct. George, if a mushroom were headlining its very own nature show, what kind of organism would it proudly claim to be?
A fungus.
Correct. Soren, which leafy buddy never takes a seasonal break and stays fabulous all year round? It's not a specific organism.
Okay.
It's a
Evergreen. tree?
Yes.
Okay.
George, what do you call a baby goose that's just starting to waddle into the world with a honk of cuteness?
A gosling.
Yep, correct. Soren, when scientists brag about an organism's growth, which stellar metric do they use which stellar metric do they use as its ultimate progress report?
Can you repeat the question?
When scientists brag about an organism's growth, which stellar metric do they use as its ultimate progress report?
Length?
No. George, you know?
Body size.
No. It's dry mass, which is different from body size.
Well, that's a little more specific, actually.
Yeah, I would have accepted mass if you had said that.
Yeah.
Soren, wait, no. The only thing always gets me confused. George, which U.S. state decided that the radiant sunflower was the ultimate bloom to represent its sunny spirit?
I feel like I need to know this, but
You have 1 of 50 options.
excellent odds.
Roll the dice.
California?
That is not correct. Soren,
Kansas.
that is correct.
Yeah.
I had a feeling you knew that
Yeah.
because you're from Kansas.
Well, I
You're from
lived-
Kansas.
I lived a year in Kansas. It's on. They have the
It's
sunflower
close enough.
on all the highway signs.
What's the state flower of Georgia? Do you know? Because
No. No, I don't.
Okay. I don't know what
What's
the
the state
Maryland was.
flower of Missouri? Do we know?
No.
I guess I could look it up.
I should have guessed a plains state for the
Yeah.
sunflower because that would make much more sense than California, which is much more diverse in landscape.
All right, the state flower from Missouri is a species of hawthorn, which I'm not very well versed in plants, but I'm not sure what a hawthorn is. But good to know. Back to trivia. All right, now we're on to body trivia, so anatomy and physiology stuff. And I already forgot who has the next trivia question. I think I went you and
It's
you.
to Soren, I believe.
Yeah. All right. Okay, Soren, what legendary tendon, named after a mythic hero's famous vulnerability, anchors your heel like a true champion?
Achilles.
That's correct. George, what quirky feature makes the Manx cat the ultimate trendsetter among cats? What feature does it have that makes it unique, unlike other cats?
It has a mane.
That's not correct.
Yeah.
Soren, do you have a guess?
Can you repeat the question?
What quirky feature makes the Manx cat the ultimate trendsetter among cats?
Minx cat?
It's MANX.
I'm gonna say that it has no hair.
That is not correct. The answer is that it has no tail,
Okay.
which I didn't know. Soren, which set of pearly whites are nature's very own precision cutters, slicing your snacks like a pro?
Teeth?
I need something more specific.
Alright, repeat the question.
Which set of pearly whites are nature's very own precision cutters, slicing your snacks like a pro?
Incisors?
Correct. George, in the prehistoric blockbuster, this actually is legitimate, it's not just named this time. In the prehistoric blockbuster starring Triceratops, what trio of bony superstars graced its head? What's the name of the structure on its head?
Horns.
Yeah. Soren, what invisible force keeps your garden from taking off on an adventure, keeping every plant grounded?
Gravity.
Yes, that's technically not a biology question, but
Well, it's not. Yeah, it's not really a body question.
Yeah,
we kind
like
of left
we're-
that for a second.
okay, George, when assembling the human skeleton, how many sturdy pieces are needed to build the ultimate frame? How many bones do we have?
That would be an easier question if I was a TA for Anatomy and Physiology 1.
Honestly, I
instead
didn't
of
even
2.
know this, to be
I
honest.
feel like
I teach AP. I don't remember the number. I knew like the rough ballpark.
200?
If we're being specific, no. That's
206?
correct.
Well done.
Did you know that, Soren?
I knew there was a 2 and a 6 in there, and I didn't
You
know
knew
if
there was a
it
2 and a 6. That could be 602, 620.
No,
Yeah,
I know it was around 200.
Yeah, that's what I know. I was like, I know
I
it's around
think-
200.
I was thinking
Technically,
it
it's like more when you're a baby because things fuse and you get less as you grow out.
That's correct.
Soren, what's the fancy Latin title for modern humans strutting through history?
Homo sapiens.
That is correct. George, in the Floral Magic Show, which backstage part transforms into the juicy fruit star? What's the part of the plant that becomes the fruit?
The ovary.
That's correct. Soren, actually, there we go. Soren, how many? Wait. Okay, sorry, I'm getting things off. There's like a repeat or two. Soren, how many heart chambers do plants have when it comes to matters of the heart?
0.
Correct.
Amateur question.
Yeah.
George, what are the speedy messenger cells in the brain's secret control room zipping signals around all day?
Neurons.
That's correct. Soren, in the body's high-tech joint store, what type is your shoulder spinning freely around?
Ball and socket.
Yep. George, what do you call the sturdy, bony helmet that safeguards your brilliant brain at the top of your head?
The skull.
That's correct. Soren, when Mother Nature builds a creature with a proper backbone, what class of animals do we call it?
Vertebrate.
Yup. George, which powerhouse muscle, famously starring in countless workout memes, holds the title for the largest in the human body?
The gluteus maximus.
That is correct. Soren, how many legs does that lovable, tail-wagging canine buddy use for a delightful strut?
4.
Yup. George, in a plant sunbathing studio where it whips up sugar, what leafy area steals the spotlight? Wow. What leafy area steals the spotlight?
What leafy area?
Don't overthink it. It's
not leaves.
no, it is.
It is leaves. Okay.
I was like, wow, the question is in the answer. Okay.
Okay.
Soren, at the creepy cool Halloween party, how many legs are making the guest list for spiders?
8.
Yeah. George, how long does the toothy, time-traveling crocodile typically reign supreme in its swampy kingdom? So, like, how long roughly do crocodiles live? It gives a range here, so I will allow for some wiggle room.
It is some period of decades, but I will need to be a little more specific. Would you accept a specific answer that is within the range?
Yes, I would.
Okay. 70 years.
No,
40 years.
I will accept that. That is the end of the range, so I will accept that.
What was the range?
30 to 40 years.
Okay, yeah.
Soren, how many temporary milk-filled teeth do kids flash before graduating to their full set of pearly whites?
32.
That is not correct. George?
Can you repeat the question?
How many temporary milk-filled teeth do kids flash before graduating to their full set of pearly whites?
Are you allowed to count?
24.
That is not correct either. It is 20.
Oh, you have to take away the molars.
George, what's the term that measures just how rock solid your bones are, as if they were competing in a strength contest?
Density?
Yep. Correct. Soren. And finally, because it's the last question in this section, what do you call the study that's like an all-access backstage pass into the inner workings of your body?
Anatomy.
That is not correct. George.
Physiology.
Correct. Keyword was the inner workings of the body. Because anatomy is just what is everything.
Oh, okay.
All right. We'll probably do 2 more categories. I'm trying to think. I'll let you vote on the next category of trivia to do. We have microbiology, famous biologist, ecology, and miscellaneous. What would you like to do?
I'm leaning towards ecology. I don't know.
Let's do ecology.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll cycle back to one of the other ones. All right.
because I feel like all the other ones I would not be great at. But we'll see about ecology though.
All right, this is going to be interesting. Okay. And we are on George, because George is stall. All right. What's one wild consequence, George, of a human population boom? This is very vague. I will take multiple answers for this.
What is one potential
Of a
consequence of a
human
human
population
population
boom?
boom? Extinction?
I guess more immediate consequences is what they're looking for. So the human population is getting really big. What are side effects of that is what they're asking.
Overcrowding?
Sure, I'll take
Overshoot?
it. Soren, where does the biggest underwater party take place, hosting most of Earth's life?
Ocean.
Yup.
You and your ocean questions.
George, which fierce creature in the food chain plays the role of nature's top bounty hunter?
The apex predator.
Yup. Soren, what do you call an animal that's all about greens and skips the meat fest?
Herbivore.
Yup.
Nice.
George, animals are often grouped into a vast classification. Fill in the blank. Animal blank. Animals are often grouped into a vast classification. Fill in the blank.
Animal Kingdom?
Yes.
Also a
Soren,
park at Disney World.
when a cell splits perfectly into identical twins, what do we call these matching mini-me's?
Daughter cells.
Yep. George, when outlandish factor is definitely not on the scientist list. Wait. Oh, I see. Okay, that's. I don't like that question.
Gonna do a
We're gonna
skip?
skip that.
Okay.
Okay, here we go. George, which quirky trait is not on the checklist of common dinosaur features? List a feature that dinosaurs do not have.
Hair.
I'll take it.
What were they looking for?
They were looking for
feathers.
having gills.
Okay, guess that's true too.
Soren, what do you call an animal that has a serious meat-only diet?
That would be carnivore.
We got some repeats on this. Okay. George, when your body turns an overload of carbohydrates into something a bit juicier, what does it produce? If you
Urine.
eat...
Wait,
Go-
sorry. Can you repeat it?
Yeah, when your body turns an overload of carbohydrates into something a bit juicier, what does it produce? What happens when you eat too much food that you can't burn off?
Fat.
Yes. Gave you a big hint for that, but... Soren, which tiny nature-approved detective serves as an early warning sign for water pollution?
Like aquatic insects.
I'm looking for something more specific.
Mayflies.
Yep. George, what's the mysterious name for that peculiar space where an organism decomposes right inside a rock? I didn't know this. This is something I learned.
A cavity?
That is not what they're looking for now.
Okay.
Can you repeat the question?
What's the mysterious name for that peculiar space where an organism decomposes right inside a rock?
Fossil.
They're looking for molds. M-O-U-L-D-S.
Okay.
It's a term I have not heard before. All right. Okay, and George, what do you call a superstar team-up of similar cells working in harmony?
Tissue.
Yep. All right, that's the end of that. And yeah, I think we have time for two more. I'm going to pick the next one, and I'll have you pick the last one. We're going to do famous biologist.
Oh no.
All right.
So, time for some history. Soren, who's the granddaddy of genetics whose pea experiments made him the OG?
Mendel.
What's his full name?
Um,
I'm looking for full names for all these, by the way.
what?
I'm gonna be
I don't think he
cruel.
knows it.
Mendel.
Is that your final answer?
No, I'm just saying that, and eventually the name will come to me. Wilfred Mendel.
Gregor Mendel.
Yes, this is Gregor Mendel. All right, George. Which nature-loving scientist famously shouted, quote, "survival of the fittest," end quote, to spark an revolution? Maybe he didn't shout it, but that's a famous...
Charles Darwin?
Yeah. Soren, who is the unsung heroine who helped decode the twisted ladder of life alongside Watson and Wilkins?
Rosalind Franklin.
Yeah, correct. George, who rolled up their sleeves and engineered the very first vaccine to slam polio off the stage?
I'm hoping you get it because I do not know it.
I feel like just looking ahead, these are only going to get a little more hard.
I knew this at one point, but I've forgotten.
Okay, do you have a guess, Soren?
I know this isn't right, but Louis Pasteur.
No. The answer is Jonas Salk.
Okay.
Soren, which accidental genius discovered the moldy magic that turned penicillin into a household name?
I want to say it starts with an F. And maybe I'll just go with my last one, Louis Pasteur.
That's not correct. George, do you have a guess?
Alexander Fleming.
That is correct.
It was an F.
George, which explorer of our moving continents hinted that the Earth's pieces are constantly on the move like a slow dance? I did not know this.
I'll have to pass.
James K. Polk.
No. It is Alfred Wegener. It's a name I have not heard. Soren, who debunked the myth of spontaneous generation, showing that microbes don't just appear out of thin air?
Let's see. Go with William McLeary.
George, do you have a guess?
This is also one that I knew because I've taught microbiology before, but it's been years, so I do not.
Okay, it is Louis Pasteur.
No! Ah, man.
George, who is the microbial maestro that set the stage for modern bacteriology like a true rock star? And it's not Louis Pasteur. Just get that
Off
out
the
there.
table. Okay.
That's good because that was going to be my guess. So.
I don't know.
Okay, it's Robert Koch.
I didn't know that either, but
It's a German.
Yeah. Soren, which brilliant mind proposed that our cells are like Russian nesting dolls, cozying up to each other in endosymbiosis? These are pretty hard.
oh man. Barbara McTook.
Do you have a guess, George?
No.
Okay, it's Lynn Margulis.
Mm.
All right, we're getting towards the end of this. George, who's the pioneer with a futuristic dream of fixing our genes like upgrading a classic video game hero?
I don't know.
Okay.
Jacob.
All right, I'm just going to stop you there and say no. William French Anderson was that. There's a lot of biology history I feel like I should learn.
Yeah, we need to. I think this is evidence. We need to brush up on our biology history.
Yeah.
Besides the obvious ones like Lamarck, Darwin, all that stuff.
Sure.
Okay, Soren, which pea plant aficionado unlocked the secrets of genetic inheritance and helped our understanding blossom?
Gregor Mendel.
That's not correct. At least that's not the answer they gave. Do you have a guess, George?
Can you repeat the question?
Which pea plant aficionado unlocked the secrets of genetic inheritance and helped our understanding blossom?
Definitely contest this one.
I do not know.
It is Hugo de Vries. Apparently he's also credited with Mendel, which I guess I could contest that, but it doesn't matter. Both of you got that wrong, so.
What?
So no one gets
Well,
points.
plus we've been primed to think that there are going to be repeat answers,
Yeah.
so we were a little eager on that one.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Are we on George or Soren? I lost track again.
I think it's George.
Okay. There's just a couple more history questions. Okay, George, who unveiled the secret behind plants' solar-powered party, discovering the magic of photosynthesis? Who discovered photosynthesis? It is not Mendel.
Okay. I don't think I know this.
Okay. Do you know, Soren?
Arthur Krebs.
No, it is Jane Eigenhaus. Or Jan. There's no E.
The Krebs of the Krebs cycle.
All right, Soren. Which savvy scientist kicked off the microbial scandal by proposing the germ theory of disease?
Louis Pasteur.
Yep.
Yes.
All right, just two more. George, who cracked the chromosomal code and revealed the secret script of heredity like a true Netflix mystery?
James Watson.
No.
Gregor Mendel.
No. Is Thomas Hunt Morgan.
Oh,
Okay.
Okay, and lastly, Soren, who ventured into the wild to hang out with our chimpanzee cousins, unveiling the secrets of primate behavior?
Jane Goodall.
That's correct. All right, we're going to do one more, and then we'll wrap up trivia. So we have miscellaneous, and we have microbiology. Which would you prefer?
Miscellaneous.
Okay. That's what I would have chosen.
Anything and everything.
I hope they're all microbiology questions. No. Let's give a quick score update.
George, you should have been keeping track in your head just in case.
That's true. Well, as the host, I think Jeremy can just change the scores at will, and
Right, that's how that works.
We're at the mercy of
I'm not
whatever
meticulously
he writes
tallying
down.
things as I go.
Yeah. See, there's no video evidence.
Okay. George, you have 43 points, and Soren, you have 48 points. So our last hurrah, and we will start with George, because I think we finished with Soren. Yeah, we just did.
Okay, yeah.
Okay. George, what do you call a flock of ravens that sound like they're plotting mischief in a midnight movie?
A cohort?
That is not correct.
Murder?
That's no. The word that they use unkindness,
Oh,
and currently unkindness of ravens is a collective noun for a group of ravens.
okay.
Also, isn't that a murder of crows?
Yeah, probably.
Maybe I think I've heard of that. Yeah.
So now you see some ravens. You could say there's an unkindness
There's
of
an
ravens.
unkindness of
Who gets
ravens.
to come up with these group names?
Honestly, I feel like before, like in the 1900s, you could kind of just do whatever you wanted with biology. Like,
And I know for frogs, it's an army of frogs.
Yeah.
Such great
Group of
names.
Frogs, like, yeah.
Yeah. So if there's some group of organisms that doesn't already have a name, can I make up a name for it? And just...
all right,
Maybe one of
Soren,
those.
which prehistoric jumbo elephant rocked the ice age like a true superstar?
Mammoth.
Yup.
They're coming back.
Are they?
Uh,
Oh, yes,
George
they are. We
Church,
did cover
yeah.
this in the news, like on a long show a long time ago. George, which animal is the ultimate master of disguise, always ready to switch up its style like a pop culture?
A chameleon.
Yep.
Okay. Yes.
Soren, which critter goes by the Latin name Ratus ratus and seems like it could crash any trendy underground party?
Rat.
Can you be more specific?
Norwegian rat.
Google something real quick. Okay, that's not correct. George,
The brown rat.
that's not correct either. It's the black rat.
The black rat. On the wrong color.
The Norwegian rat is the Ratus norwegus, or how do you say it?
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
George, what's the fancy word for the study of how your body and everything else gets its groove on? I think this is a repeat.
Anatomy, physiology, or physiology?
Yeah. Soren, what's the name of those speedy messengers in your brain that keep your thoughts and reflexes on fleek?
Neurons.
Yep. George, if a saber-toothed cat were strutting down a catwalk, what type of fur would it probably be sporting?
What type of fur? Brown.
I don't like this question. I'm
I'll
gonna
just
skip
got
this.
colors. That's all I'm going to be able to give.
Yeah, I don't like this question.
What was the answer?
It says like a cheetah.
Okay.
So the fur being similar to a cheetah, I don't. All right, we're gonna ask
Do
you
they
this
know
next
that,
one.
or do they? Are they just
All right,
like
George, what's the secret hangout inside a plant cell that keeps all its goodies stored?
The vacuole.
I'll give that to you. I'll look at this. Soren, enucleation sounds like a sci-fi mission. What does it actually do to a nucleus?
Gets rid of it.
Yep, it removes it. George, before becoming the iconic red star of salads and sauces, which plant was known as the love apple?
The tomato.
Yeah. It says which veggie. I'm like, it's not a veggie. So we're splitting hairs there. You got a couple more questions. Soren, what's another name for those climbing plants that wrap around your garden like nature's own roller coaster?
Vines?
Yep. George, where in your body do the adenoids hang out, doing their undercover work?
The what?
The adenoids. Adenoids. Where in their body do they hang out?
In the cells.
Like a part of your body, not like that, not microbiology.
In your muscles.
No. Soren, do you know?
In your fat.
No, it is in your nasal passages.
Oh.
Okay.
Soren, in the bustling plant cell, what role does the cytoplasm play, keeping things moving? What happens in the cytoplasm?
Is that where like everything happens? That's just where it stores stuff?
I guess the cytoplasm specifically? Well, actually, I don't want to say anything else.
Okay.
I'm going to just leave that as is.
Cytoplasm streaming something, I don't know. That's probably not it.
Well, I guess I'll put it this way. What's a major thing that happens in the cytoplasm? That's probably a better way to put it.
Movement of molecules from inside to out.
I'm going to say
Inside
no.
to out.
George.
I have an answer, but it would be a little specific and scientific.
Just
the normal glycolysis.
That's
Yeah, that's kind of what it's going for.
They're
yeah.
looking for production of proteins because there's ribosomes in the cytoplasm, which ribosomes for the listeners
Okay,
are
yeah.
the organelles of the cell that make proteins in your body. George, what's the swanky scientific term for shoulder blade, the unsung hero behind every arm wave?
The scapula.
Yep. And Soren, the last question. What do scientists call the enzyme mechanism that is perfectly paired together?
Oh man. I should know this. Substrate. No.
Can you repeat it?
It's more like yeah. What do scientists call the enzyme mechanism that's as perfectly paired together? Like the items are paired together. So like what's the name of the concepts that we refer to this as? It's a model. That's your hint. It's also kind of a little outdated if I'm being honest, but that's not important.
Yeah, the smaller portion's the substrate that enters the larger portion of the molecule. Enzymatic.
As soon as I say it, you're going to be like, oh,
I
yeah.
know what it is now, but
Yeah, what is it?
It is lock and key,
Oh, okay. Well,
which technically
yeah.
nowadays I
I
think
mean-
we call it the induced fit model, but that's not really here
Yeah.
nor there. Okay, so that's going to end trivia stuff. So
Oh, that's it?
That's it. I mean, if you want to do microbiology, we can, but
We can end it there, I guess.
what's the score?
my brain is.
do you want me to tell you the score? And
My
then
brain
if
has worked so hard to simplify and try not to think.
do you want to know
about
the updated score, and then that will dictate if we do the last one?
Well,
Well, I don't think we can do it at that point.
Yeah.
Whoever's ahead will just be saying no.
I'm just
We're done.
saying, but I'm saying I still have trivia
No, we
questions
can-
left, so
We can call it. That's fair.
let me update the score, and I'll let you decide. Okay.
I guess if it's tied, we have to. And then
Okay, so the score right now is George 47, Soren 52. You're looking at each other. I don't know.
How
if-
about each of us gets 2 more questions?
Okay. Okay.
So that way.
Actually, you know what? Let's make this interesting. We are going to do microbiology because you guys are on the fence, and
Okay,
we're going to
alright.
make it double points. If you get
Oh,
it, you get 2
double.
whoa,
points.
whoa, oh.
double points.
Yeah, look, their eyes lit up, audiences, as soon as I said that.
Yeah, but mine was like, I don't want to do this because I'm winning right now.
Soren's eyes lit up with fear, whereas mine lit up with enthusiastic
We
opportunity.
I like how
could
you
we
said
could
4,
make this
so they
interesting,
could, like-
and if you get the question wrong, you lose a point.
No.
Okay.
I see 1K one now.
Whatever the host desires.
Actually, could we do double points or would you lose a point? You know what? Let's have some fun. We're going to lose a point if you get the question wrong.
Can you,
Alright.
like, refuse to answer?
No.
Oh.
If you do, you lose a point. And if someone steals your question, you also lose a point. So just because you...
Well, if you can pass, you're ahead, so all you would do is pass every single question and stay at...
Yeah, okay,
Well,
so...
but then you could get points, though.
I guess I'd get points.
Here's what we're going to do, gentlemen. So you get the question right, you get 1 point. If you miss the question, you lose a point. So,
Okay.
plus or
that
minus.
sounds good.
All right, again, Soren was the last person because you just answered the question on... Because you were scapula and you were something else. I forgot we were just on.
Yeah,
Lock
I
and
think
key.
we're on the lock and key one.
Yeah, okay. Right. Okay, so we're on George. Okay. George, microbiology time. What is the science of teeny tiny critters called?
Microbiology.
Correct. Yeah, get a point.
Can't overthink this.
Except when you do.
Except when you do.
Soren, which microscopic troublemaker is why your nose feels like a faucet?
Mucus?
Looking for an infection type thing.
Virus.
More specifically.
Cold virus.
I need to look something up because I don't know
Norovirus?
virology very much.
Neurovirus.
I have a guess.
Oh,
Wait, Soren, what did you say before?
like,
What did you
What-
say after virus?
I said at one point I said cold virus, and then I went to neurovirus.
Okay, yeah, cold virus is correct.
Okay.
Because they have it as rhinovirus, which is like a
Oh.
more technical name for it. I didn't know that was what the cold was called.
Was that
Okay.
what you guessed?
Well, it's a group of viruses that can cause colds.
Okay.
So there's others.
Oh,
Yeah.
rhino like nose. That's probably why.
Okay, George, what's the fancy term used to... let me start over. What's the fancy term for using heat to zap those pesky microbes?
Shock therapy.
That is not correct. Soren.
Sterilize?
That is correct.
Oh.
Soren, which bacteria villain is behind the TB saga? Which bacterial villain is behind the TB saga? I can't say that.
Tuberculosis.
I need the full name.
Tuberculosis. Escheri.
That is not correct. George, you have a guess. And you don't lose points because you're
Yeah,
stealing.
I don't
so-
have a guess.
Okay, it is Mycobacterium tuberculosis.
Oh.
George, what do we call a substance that puts microbes on a timeout? It's a weird way to describe it, but all right. What substance do we use to fight microbes?
An antibiotic.
Yeah.
It was more than put them in timeout, though.
They come back after a while.
Well,
That's
there-
true.
there-
Antibiotic
well, there
resistance.
is antibiotic resistance, actually. So, yeah.
Which, again, for the audience, just to make sure they know what that is where you use some kind of drug to fight bacteria, but naturally, because there's variation in genetics, some bacteria are actually resistant to it, and all the ones that the drugs don't kill then reproduce. So then the next generation of bacteria can also fight the antibiotics, which is a really big problem in fighting diseases and the pharmaceutical market. But that is neither here nor there. Soren, what's the sneaky microbe that crashes the yeast party?
Sneaky microbe.
The
that
sneaky microbe that crashes the yeast party.
Let's go with E. coli.
That is incorrect. George.
I do not have a guess.
Okay, it is Candida. George, which microscopic parasite makes mosquitoes the real MVPs of malaria?
Plasmodium.
That is correct. Soren, what branch of science is all about viruses?
Virology.
Yeah. It's not a difficult question. George, which bacteria is the uninvited guest at your dinner that causes food poisoning?
Gonna have to go with whatever one's most common, probably, because there are different things that can cause that. Giardia?
That is not correct.
E. coli.
That is not correct. Hold on. I did look something up. Again, I'm also not good at microbiology.
I have a question about the rules on this. So if I then try to steal and I guess and I'm wrong, is that minus 1 point for me?
No,
Okay.
that's not how that works.
Yes, or didn't you read the rules ahead of time? Come on.
I'm looking up something for the audience. Okay, that's not correct. It's salmonella, which is not the same thing as E. coli.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Soren, What's the process of heating your grub to say, quote, no thanks, end quote, to unwanted microbes?
Cooking?
What's the more scientific way to put that? I guess is the easiest way to describe it. Actually,
Sterilization.
I want to look this up to make sure. We're getting a lot of technical nuances right now.
Pasteurization.
Okay, yeah, cooking is pasteurization. Okay, yeah, you're correct. Because I was like, is it the same thing? I don't know. I've never been like, I'm gonna go pasteurize my food at home. Like, I'm gonna go bake it. All right, George, which tiny organism is why your throat feels like you swallowed a burrito? I need the full name.
Streptococcus meningitis.
Is not correct. Soren.
Let's go with Streptococcus borrelia.
That is not correct either.
What is it?
It is Streptococcus pyogenes.
Okay.
Soren, what's the name of the microbe that's the arch nemesis of your molars? Need the full name.
I do not know, but I'm going to guess gingivitis.
No.
I do not know either.
Okay, it is Streptococcus mutans.
Uh,
George, which microscopic miscreant is the main culprit in urinary tract troubles?
E. coli.
That's correct. Soren, what do you call the study of your body's defense squad against pathogens?
immunology.
Yep. And lastly, George, which microscopic invader is the headline act of the flu season?
Can you repeat it?
Which microscopic invader is the headline act of the flu season?
The influenza virus?
Yeah, correct.
I
All right.
think some of these were very specific for this microbiology one.
Yeah, you did up the specificity in this category.
All right, the final score is George 49 and Soren 54. So congratulations, Soren.
Wait, did it?
You are the winner of the third trivia challenge. I think you're joining Sebastian from the first time, and I believe Becky. I don't remember if Becky or Webster won the second one, but you were joining the victor circle.
You're joining an elite class.
An elite class.
Victors.
Thank you.
So thank you, gentlemen, for humoring me with trivia. And now, as we end every episode of That Science and Nature Show, it's time for Outside of Science, that part of the show we talk about things, you guessed it, outside of science to prove that we are in fact not robots that work and do research 24/7. So, gentlemen, it has been a long winter break. Some of you have been on the show more recently, of course, and some of you it's been a while. But in terms of the winter break season, what have we all been up to?
So I've done a number of things. I did
He wrote a list, everybody. It's just like on
I
paper.
did bring a list just so I wouldn't. I'd make sure I wouldn't have an awkward.
We just sit here for
awkward
5
fart
minutes
of
while you're like,
silence
what
and
did I
think,
do
Wait a minute, did I do
over the
anything
last
fun?
month?
In fact, I did. My wife and I actually went to the Two Hill Performing Arts Center here on UMSL's campus twice in that period. Once to see the St. Louis Ballet perform the Nutcracker, and then the other time to see the St. Louis Symphony Orchestra perform a few pieces. The headlining piece was Dvorak's New World Symphony.
Nice.
So those were both really fun. We did take a road trip down to Georgia. We drove all the way to Atlanta and saw some of her family there, and then carpooled with some of her family down to Statesboro, Georgia, where some of her other family is. That is also the town home to Georgia Southern University, where I got my master's degree. So I kind of walked around campus a little bit, went in the biology building to reminisce a little bit. And then for part of the time we were down there, we drove all the way to Tybee Island. And so I actually got to walk on an Atlantic coast beach.
Ooh.
Where it was about 70 degrees, slight breeze.
Nice.
Much better
Sounds
than the
heavenly.
conditions here in St. Louis, Missouri. And then we also went to the Atlanta Botanical Garden once we came back to Atlanta. So it was a very productive trip. We got to see lots of her family and do a lot of fun things. So it was a good break.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. What have I been up to? So I flew back to the East Coast because I'm from Maryland to see my family. I got to finally meet my nephew Jonah. He's very cute. He's at the time of seeing him, he was about 4 months old. So got to see him, hold him, got to hang out with my family and everything. That was very nice, quiet holiday. Nothing really like super eventful happened. And then I hung out with my brother and sister-in-law in New Jersey for a few days, just hung out and relaxed at home. I ate so many cookies. I don't even want to tell you how many I ate. It was so much cookies and so much chocolate. There was a lot of eating. So, it was kind of taking all in the free food I could get, as one does as a graduate student. So that was nice. And then otherwise, when I have not been doing just other school-related things, I've been catching up on a lot of TV shows or watching TV shows. So I have been watching, or I finished Squid Game Season 2. So it's like basically Korean Hunger Games is the easiest way to describe it. But Season 1 came out in 2021 when it was kind of still COVID time, and that show exploded. I was kind of like on the fence about watching it, and then I watched it later that year, and it was blown away how good it was. And then when Season 2 came, I was like, pretty much day one, we're watching this. So, and it doesn't disappoint, just as good as the first season. Would highly recommend it if you like the first season. If you haven't watched it, would also highly recommend it. And then I started watching a much older show called Band of Brothers, which is like an old HBO show from the early 2000s about these paratroopers in World War II that drop behind enemy lines. It's about like their mission to start to push from Normandy, France, all the way to Germany, and is absolutely phenomenal. As most HBO quality things are. So if you like your war stuff and your war documentary type things, but it's, they have actors and everything portraying all the battles and stuff, would highly recommend. So that's largely what I've been up to over the break.
Cool, yeah.
I guess like recently this week, one day played basketball actually with both Jeremy and George.
Oh yeah.
So that was a lot of fun. Getting to do that, getting some exercise, and haven't played basketball in a little bit. So that was lots of fun. Yeah, and I guess today helped to try to take some goldfish out of a spot that they weren't supposed to be in. So that was
Here on campus?
Yeah,
Here
here
on
on
campus.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So.
How about over your holiday? You said you went to Chicago. You do anything fun while you're there?
Let's see. Hung out with family and saw some friends. Had a friend who recently had, I guess, within the last 6 months or 7 months, had a baby. So saw their new child. So that was cool. So.
Did you hold him?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
He was a little grumpy, so.
Okay. Like we're gonna put the baby down now.
Yeah.
Nice. All right. And yeah, anything else we want to share for Outside of Science before I wrap up the show?
Looking forward to the semester. I mean, it's going to be a lot of work, but
It's going to be chaos as always. Here we go again.
It's going to be a lot of work, but I've been doing, as I said, some work over the break, but it is just kind of more of a ghost town during breaks, and so it's more fun to be around when there's other people doing things in the building. So a lot of work, but I'm looking forward to there being more of the grad students, faculty, etc.
Yeah, campus is weird during breaks because you get a lot of work done because it's like a ghost town, but there's nothing fun or exciting going on. There's like not like the energy of like I could go talk to somebody, and there's all these events going on. And of course, during the semester, the trade-off is you're crazy busy with all the stuff going on, but it's also kind of fun and exciting. So
Yeah.
it's the trade-off as always. But yeah, I think that's going to wrap up our episode. So I will give the closing monologue. Thank you so much for listening to That Science and Nature Show. We are now on a few different platforms. Another thing over winter break is I spent some time getting us onto some other things. Normally we've been on YouTube, Spotify, and Amazon. I got us onto Apple Podcasts finally. It was having some issues with that, so that was the last big one that I'm missing. And then I got us onto like iHeartRadio and Good Pods and some other small ones. But from here on out, I'm pretty much going to just say you could find the podcast on wherever you listen to podcasts instead of listing them all individually. So with that, you can find That Science and Nature Show, this and past episodes, on wherever you get your podcast. We will be back in the radio studio at UMSL around February is my plan, so look forward to that. Until then, you've been listening to That Science and Nature Show. My name is Jeremy Howard, and we are out.